I'd like to pass it over to Barry for final and closing remarks on the past 2 days.
So thanks to everybody who stuck with us to the very end. I know they're long days and they were really jam-packed with lots of information. I think most of it was very easily understood. There were a couple of sessions that might have been a little bit on the high end, but we like to push that. We like to ensure that we push that education part as well. What a conference, I have to say. Every year that we do this, and obviously it's not me, myself, that does it. We have a whole team at Colorectal Cancer Canada, the PAC team who works hard on this throughout the year, and of course our co-chairs who really initiate and go through each of these sessions. And thanks to our amazing speakers and of course our sponsors, without whom this would not have been possible. I'm so inspired by our keynote speakers, whom Jan I've known over a long period of time. Many of you have interacted with him in the international scene, but you can see the work that's done by the Europeans in this area is quite advanced. And I think that we can get up to speed. We are more advanced perhaps in some areas and less in others. For example, in health technology assessment and our interaction between patient groups and our health technology agencies, for example. Maybe we have an advantage there, but there's a lot that we can learn from each other. And from each of these sessions that we've had today, whether understanding how clinicaltrials.gov works as a tool for our patient navigators, or understanding the different types of trials and how they're initiated, our friends at Amgen and at Genentech explained that, how to take these trials, the scientific purpose of the trial, and then how to actually operationalize that. This is an area that we need to play a solid role in, particularly in the operationalization of the trial, but also in the initial design of the trial. It's extremely important if we're to meet the needs of patients. We also had an amazing opportunity to talk about data today and some of the things that are really up and coming, synthetic data being used. This has been instituted in various hospitals already, for example, in Ottawa Hospital and others across the country, in order to really encourage value-based healthcare and also to improve healthcare for patients. So having Eric and Alan discuss data, this is really where it's at and where it's going. And the more data that we have and the more use of this data we have, the better the outcomes hopefully will be, because we'll be able to know what direction we're going into. And Mike Duong, who moderated that session, has worked with me at the Canadian, or I've worked with him, I should say, with the Canadian Personalized Healthcare Innovation Network. And there we're talking about learning healthcare systems and working together with CADIF and others in order to understand how to better trust the data that comes out of clinical trials, where we hear so often about the uncertainty from there. And finally, what an amazing opportunity with digitizing pathology, giving patients who really could be found anywhere in the country, and not necessarily, in downtown Toronto or in Montreal, for example, and getting them the opportunity to ultimately have their pathology examined. What an example in terms of immunotherapy, those people who may have been missed, for example, and are picked up, or in prostate cancer. This is really the future where it's going. Yes, it's a big investment, but understanding how it could benefit patients and prove its value is fundamental to it. And then finally, thanks so much to everybody on our PAC, to Stephen and Martine, who really have at heart, and the rest of our PAC team, who include several other people in terms of clinical trial networks, CROs, etc., who really work throughout the year to exemplify what you see during the course of this two-day conference, and take it to the next level. So stay tuned for next year, because we'll have so much more to offer as we work and advance PAC throughout the next 12 months. And thanks for being here. Thanks, Emery.